People give you business not for the company you are or not for your team, but it is for you. They trust you and they give business to you. So it is very, very important that we build this relationship with people and give that confidence in them. Today, I can say this pandemic, though has created havoc in many industries and in many lives, it has also opened doors for many new industries. It is nothing wrong in shifting technologies. There's nothing wrong in shifting careers, but it is your hard work which matters. Any entrepreneur, always every problem brings an opportunity. It is for us to identify that opportunity and move it. Not everyone can learn by failures. If someone has failed, it is also important to learn from them. So have a sounding board, have a bouncing board where you can bounce your ideas.
For the future generation, we are going to do a big deal of favor.
I have traveled to more than 20 countries across 4 continents in the world.
Hello everybody, welcome to Entrepreneurship Simplified, and this show is going to introduce you to those brilliant ideas and the biggest leaders who will help you to simplify success and entrepreneurs through their real life situations, challenges, failures and successes, so that you don't need to repeat the same mistakes again. Rather focus on your growth to realize your dream of becoming an entrepreneur much faster. And this show is being done in association with Young Indians. Young Indians is a movement for Indian youth to converge, lead, co-create, and influence India's future. YI is playing a proactive role in India's development process. If you want to take part of India's growth and be successful, YI is a place to be. Bear in mind, this show has no script. Everything you hear on the show is heart to heart, the real life experiences. And today's guest is a first generation entrepreneur who represented India many times for the G20 Summits held in Russia, Australia, Germany, and Argentina. Leo has more than 22 years of experience in IT and has worked in Germany, Spain, Switzerland, and Dubai. Leo founded eQuadriga software as a first MNC in Trichy. He has so much of interest to the traveling and traveled more than 40 countries across the world. He has also been a board member of various colleges like Bharathidasan University, SRM, and St. Joseph's College, just to name a few. Leo is also the past chairman of CAI Trichy and founder chairman of YI Trichy. Help me to welcome Leo Ananth, founder and CMD of eQuadriga Software and also co-founder of Credo Health Services. Hi Leo, how are you doing?
Hi Rajesh, thank you very much to introduce me. It was a great introduction. I'm doing fine and hope to hear the same from you.
Thank you so much for being part of this show. And I just want to ask, traveling to 40 countries, right? That must have been really, I've talked to many people. How this entrepreneurship is connected to traveling? Is there any link to it actually?
I would like to thank my customers for the same, because most of my customers are in Europe. And customers in Europe mostly work Monday to Friday. They toil very hard and they really party during the weekends. So when I'm in Germany to meet my customers, so Monday to Friday, I have to be working. And Saturday, Sundays are weekdays for them. And this time is only for the family or friends. In that context, I'm left alone. And Europe has all the countries within it, which is very, very interesting. So whenever I'm there, specifically, I take a car and I ride to all the nearby countries, or there's a Euro bus, for example, that you take the night bus, the next day you are there, or the flights to all the other places. So Europe is where I've traveled to. I've visited more than 90% of all the countries in Europe. And then, of course, Eastern Asia and Australia, US, all the countries. So any countries which people would have gone, I would have gone. But apart from it, I visited even the smallest country in Europe. So thanks to my business, it has also created an environment for me to travel during the weekends.
Wow, this is really very interesting. I mean, let me ask this question, right? Most of the businesses are kind of adapting to the global scenarios. In such a scenario, how important it is for entrepreneurs to really travel, or how it will impact the way that you do the business?
I think today, being a world where everyone is connected, a place does not matter. Everyone connects electronically. So even today, we have this call on Zoom. So whether you are in my city or you are in the next country, it does not matter. Everything is electronically done. So in this context, it is very important that we know people who are far away, and it is just not travel. If you're traveling for 5 days to a new country, you should explore your contacts on LinkedIn or Facebook and try to see someone there who could potentially be a business partner or a business giver to you. Or maybe you can also support them. We should always never approach in the context of taking business, but also building just a relationship. that tomorrow when they need you or when you need them, it comes automatically. Because sometimes when you always go with the intention of trying to get business, they always run away from you or shy away from you. So it is important that you build relationships, and you never know what benefits that relationships could give. It could also be a personal help. So in this context, I like to also remember one incident which happened to me. Once I was traveling in Norway. I was in the Oslo airport and I never wear a coat. So it was a very cold day. And that particular day I had a coat. And when I was transiting, I was checking out of the airport, and there, not checking out of the airport, checking into the plane. And that time I left my laptop on the truck, and I had to just, I left it off, and I came to Germany. And once I landed in Germany, I found out that I left my laptop in Oslo. And first thing I did was I went into LinkedIn, looked at my contacts who are in Oslo. Unfortunately, at that time, I did not have anyone there. And immediately I connected to friends of friends. And I was surprised to know that I had 100 plus contacts who had connections in Oslo. And then it was difficult for me to find out who could directly put me onto it. And the next day, I was able to reach through a couple of contacts, and I had my laptop, which was sent to Germany. Because if some product is left at the airport, they charge you a hefty fee. But someone immediately collected from the airport, and then they had it for a day and immediately couriered it to me. And it was so instantaneous. I do not know who helped me out of it, but this is just not your contacts. It is also your contacts of contacts who will help you. So I think it is very, very important that in business context, you have to build relationships, and that's very, very important in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. This is really a very, very, I would say, the kind of relevant experience for this times. Because, I mean, let me ask you, right? Business is nothing but bunch of relationships. How we build a relationship with the, every stakeholder, right? From, the customers, not just the customers, also the employees and, every other stakeholders like service providers. So now, I mean, you traveling for so long and, so many countries. Can you tell me what is the kind of importance of relationships and the networking within a business?
So first thing, we have to understand that every country has a different culture. In some countries, people are open. In some countries, people do not want to open about the personal life. So we have to, first of all, understand the culture when we are talking of traveling and meeting a lot of people. And most importantly, I would say people give you business not for the company you are or not for your team, but it is for you. They trust you and they give business to you. So it is very, very important that we build this relationship with people and give that confidence in them, because everywhere there are mistakes. You give a business to someone, there may be a delay, a quality may be having a problem, but it is not running a business or offering a service without any problems, but mitigating that after the problem comes. Because anywhere you go, it cannot be 100% false proof business. We wish to do that, and sometimes we do it, but sometimes it may also have some problems. But when that problem comes, many businesses try to point fingers and say that this problem occurs because of you. And that is where we have to say it is not about whose fault is it. It is because you value that relationship. You don't get into the intricacies of who was the reason for the problem. We as a business say we offer a product or a solution, and that has to be received by the customer. If that does not benefit the customer, there's no point in doing a business. I always tell my employees that we do not sell a product or service, we sell a solution. We sell an emotion. It is always important that the buyer always feels that he's not buying a product or service, but we add value to him. That value is what is a relationship. And that value he can demand a value from you, but at the same time, it has to be not pulled from you. It has to be pushed from you. He should not feel that he had to ask for it. We have to understand the context. Sometimes the customer may not know what he exactly wants. With our experience of delivering so many solutions, we have to understand what he's trying to say and give him the best solution. It is just not customer satisfaction. It is customer delight, which matters.
Yeah, I can't agree more on this actually. And I mean, let me ask, right? Now you're not just about running your own business. You're into multiple businesses and you're part of so many colleges as an advisor. And what is the kind of thing that you had that you are going to become an entrepreneur right in the beginning, or it kind of evolved, saying that okay, I want to set up a business and all that. It's an evolving process.
I would say I was an accidental entrepreneur, because when I completed my engineering in 98, I had an opportunity to work in Chennai for a couple of years. And then in 2000, I had an opportunity to head the Indian operations of a German company. So at this context, when I was trying, because most of my family members always wanted me, especially my parents wanted me to go to US and settle down. That is the aspiration of any family member or parent. Was the same for me. And this company was in Germany. And when I was in my work in my previous organization, I had some contacts in Germany. And using those contacts, I wanted to set up a company here. And ironically, when I wanted to set up a company here, I also had an offer from a US company to join the company there. So if I had no offer, I could have said that I've taken this an entrepreneurial plunge and I took some risks, etc. But I had a job and offer letter ready with me, and parents convinced me to take that offer because they knew that before starting this company, eQuadriga in 1998 to 2000, my dream was to go to US, and I had made many attempts to go there. And finally, when I got an offer to go there, I'm telling my parents that I'll start a company here. So that was alarming for them. But at the same time, being a only son of my parents, they had more confidence in me, and I had the privilege of convincing them. And I told them that let me try for a year, because no one is going to tell me that you head the Indian operations at 23 years. And that was really an opportunity knocking the door, and I didn't want to miss it. So I told my parents that this offer, which I got after 2 years, was because I was one of the first certified Java professionals at that point of time. And because I got the certification, I got that. Today in IT, there are new technologies which comes every year. And if you can certify yourself with that new technology, you can always place yourself. IT is one industry where it is not the number of years which counts. If you're in mechanical or any other industry, you could always say that in HR, for example, a 20-year HR manager will surely have more value than an HR manager of 2 years. But in IT, it is the reverse. It is not about 20 years or 2 years. It is about which technologies you know and what can you deliver to the client. So if an organization is working on very latest technologies and a 2-year guy knows that, the company would not hesitate to let go of the 20-year-old person and hire this 2-year-old person. That is the current market scenario in an IT industry. That's exactly what happened to me. That I convinced my parents saying that in IT, anytime I want to go to US, I just need to learn the current technology, get myself certified by an international organization, and I'll get placed. So that really helped me to start this organization. So it is very, very important that we always keep ourselves aware of what is happening in the industry in terms of domain and also in terms of technology. And that really helped me to start this company and take it forward to where it stands today.
Wow. I love the way you said this accidental entrepreneur. But for me, you look like a very highly focused entrepreneur. But let me ask, right? I mean, where is IT industry is heading now? Especially, I know that, the current COVID situation, so many people have lost jobs, but so many people have got their jobs, especially who can adapt to the new conditions. Where is this heading? This can give an idea for the budding entrepreneur.
Okay. Though I said came into as an accidental entrepreneur, surviving 20 years cannot be by accident. So it is always being understanding how things are and adapting yourself to the change. As you always say, change is the only constant, and unless you are ready to change, you'll not be able to survive. So that's regarding my journey. But coming back to your question, like how can we survive? Today, I can say this pandemic, though has created havoc in many industries and in many lives, it has also opened doors for many new industries. And new industries, I would also say people are today working from home. In yesterday's, when someone had to buy a software, it was divided into software on the cloud and software on-premise. On-premise means that you don't need internet. If it was a factory, the software was installed in one of the servers in the factory and used to work. But today we have challenging times when it is difficult to ensure that people may come to the industry or come to the factory, which means that people have to work from home. So many software which was on-premise is today being taken to the cloud. And today we are recruiting people, and it is very challenging. That usually we used to say the salary range in IT industry used to be a scenario where your years of experience multiplied by 10 or 20. So assuming that someone was a 2-year guy, he can get maximum of 40,000. Someone was a 5-year guy, he will maximum get around 70 to 90,000 or maximum a lakh, depending on what technology you use. Today, for example, there are technologies like React, for example, and people with 2 years of experience are commanding 80,000 and 1 lakh. An offer, there is no guarantee that they will join you because every company is today going after latest technologies, and today there is a dearth of developers. In this context, I always tell people it is nothing wrong in shifting technologies. There's nothing wrong in shifting careers, but it is your hard work which matters. Any entrepreneur, always every problem brings an opportunity. It is for us to identify that opportunity and move ahead. So today we have also gone into this Credo Health. So Credo Health is about connecting the patient to the doctor through connected devices and analyzing the data using AI platform. So today we understand that though on one side, we say that healthcare is the industry which is booming in the pandemic, there are hospitals also feeling the brunt of the current situation and they're not able to proceed. So even the hospitals, though it is really growing in the pandemic, has to also adapt to the latest technologies. So today, for example, telemedicine, teleconsulting is the need of the hour. There's a statistics which shows that the outpatients has reduced by less than 40%. Because today people are afraid to go to the hospital because they fear that if they go to the hospital, then that could be the source of the pandemic for them. So in this context, when they are at home, it is important for the hospital to still connect to the patient. And there is when teleconsulting comes into place. So a few years before, teleconsulting was not heard of. People always used to feel the doctor's touch, and only then they felt that they are getting healed. But today it is totally changed that people are fearing going to the hospital. So technology is changing. And how many students would have felt that all the classes would happen online? So it's an opportunity for Byju's, the valuation what Byju's is today. So no one expected it that to be that way. So every problem also comes with opportunities. It is for an entrepreneur to identify that opportunity and utilize that opportunity and grow along with it.
Yeah, I can see plenty of opportunities right now for these budding entrepreneurs. But just let me ask. Now, you spent literally more than 20 years being an entrepreneur. Is the journey really an easy ride or a difficult one? Or what is the kind of preparation these people should have? These budding entrepreneurs, when they're actually about to say, yes, I got an idea, I want to start. So what kind of experience you had?
Okay, I would not say all the 20 years were an awesome journey. I would say that 20 years I've been challenging 20 years and it has been interesting 20 years. There's a lot of learnings. Some years has been a cakewalk. Some years is when my family would say that why you want to toil so much? Why don't you just give up and go to work somewhere? So there have been many instances when my wife used to say that you don't have to toil so hard when your friends are just literally enjoying their life with the families. And I used to say it's a give and take in the sense that if you are toiling during the tough times, for sure you will be rewarded for your efforts. The never die attitude is what is very, very important for an entrepreneur. There will always be tough times, but at the same time, I think any entrepreneur should always be aware that, for example, if I'm an entrepreneur, I should toil hard, but the cash flow management is very, very important. I cannot say that I will never let go and hold on to something where tomorrow I have to sell all the assets which I have gained. I always have a yardstick for me where I say that I don't have to make revenue, but at the same time, I should not bring my personal assets again into the company. That's where I draw my line. Because sometimes a lot of people merge their personal life with their business life. It's important that an entrepreneur cannot divide it. But I believe there should be a thin line between it where your family should not feel the pressure of your entrepreneurship journey. They will support you for sure, but then their life, if it is hindered, the children or their family members, if they feel that their life is being affected, the support will be a disturbance. So in my personal opinion, I think you should try out, but at the same time, draw a line and say, okay, this is my target. I will achieve this. Whether it is on the positive or negative side. On the negative side, you would not like to go there. But if it goes there, don't hesitate to say no or close things and try something new. Do not worry about the society. If you win or you lose, there are people always to comment about you. So don't worry about the feedback which comes. But of course, you should hear them, but be your own decision maker. I'm not saying that don't hear what others say, but you hear it and then decide on the merit of the statement. You don't have to do everything what others say, but it's important that you hear them. And also a message to budding entrepreneurs is that it is always important that you have a bouncing board. A bouncing board, which I would say is where you can bounce your ideas. And specifically, some seasoned entrepreneurs may be able to tell you their experiences. Not everyone can learn by failures. If someone has failed, it is also important to learn from them. So have a sounding board, have a bouncing board where you can bounce your ideas. And I'm again repeating, you don't have to hear or do whatever they say. But at the same time, it is up to you to reflect and then act upon it. Because sometimes the human mind, if something goes wrong, will always try to put the blame on someone else. If you have taken the decision, then you say, okay, I decided, this has happened. Now I will again decide to move out of the situation. Because sometimes you always feel that, okay, if only I had not heard to him, this would not have happened. That should never come. They only give you ideas because their experiences were different. The situation was different. The business were different. So you just hear from them and then you take it in your stride and you run your own show. All of us have to understand, all of us are riding our own horses and someone else cannot ride it for us, nor can we ride it on them.
Yeah, of course, yes. This is very important. I mean, I think you made such an important point, Leo, about the sounding board. So here, I think, like you already mentioned about, having the right network of people who can act as a sounding board. Or are you only just referring to having a mentor or something like that? So if somebody who's going to start, where do they really look into? Having the right network of entrepreneurs, or probably mentor, or both?
I think it's a combination of both, because not one person, as I already told you, will always have the same experience of you, because you may be in a different domain. Basically, you may be in a different generation. So if you talk to someone very, very older, their ideas may be good, but then the way of implementing it may be different, because today you take social media. When you talk to someone very old, they would have been following the marketing which has been happening in essay years, like a television or a newspaper. But today, more than the television or newspaper, the social media is taking a bigger role in marketing our services and products. So you may be able to take the marketing ideas from them, but then you may have to again implement it based on the current requirements. So I would say that each of them may give you a different value. So it can't be just one person. It can be a multiple people, and you take the best out of what all can deliver. But at the same time, there should be someone who's always putting you in your place where you belong to. Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, we always try to take risks which is beyond our limitations. So someone should always be careful in remembering us or reminding us, telling that, are you sure that if this goes wrong, what is your backup scenario? If something does not go right, what are you going to do? So there's questions if someone is asking you and you're ready for it. They always say, expect the best to happen, but be prepared for the worst. So if you're prepared for the worst and you go on targeting the best, wherever you end, you're not demotivated. You expected that in the worst case that could happen. And if
Yes.
it's within your expectation, then you always have the courage and the confidence to again raise up. It's not, as the saying goes, it is not the number of times you fall that matters. Are you raising up every time you fall? I think that is a very important scenario, that are you having the courage and the confidence to again raise up and run the race of entrepreneurship, than blaming any obstacle which came your way. That's how I
Yeah.
would put it as.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And, let me ask this, before we really conclude this very interesting conversation. Um, if you need to give one simple advice for these budding entrepreneurs who are about to start, or maybe who are thinking to start, what would your advice be?
I would not say advice, I would just say my learnings. I've seen many entrepreneurs who today come up with some idea and tomorrow they feel that idea does not work. Before you start, it is important that first of all, you believe in your idea. And if it is possible, always prepare a team member to work along with you, or a co-founder, because not everyone will have the same bandwidth for every area. Because entrepreneurship is not about technology alone. It is not about finance alone. It is not about administration alone. It is not about people management alone. It's a combination of everything. Sometimes a tech savvy guy may be there who may not be good in finance or may not be good in HR. At the same time, there may be one person who's very good in operations and administration, but may not be tech savvy. There may be some guy who can convince any member and maybe a good marketing guy, but he may not be a technology guy. So whenever you start, it is important that you identify what your skills are, and you identify what the skills you do not have. Because today, a lot of people say that you should play to your strengths. But I would say play to your strengths, but also understand what your weaknesses are, and identify co-founder who has your weakness as a strength, and then go along and face the battle. Because not necessary that every entrepreneur should always work individually. Identify your weakness and try to identify someone who can compensate that weakness for you, and you can run a marathon. And that is what I would say. Entrepreneurship is not a sprint where you just run today and tomorrow you say that I'm done. You start an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, whenever you do something, it's going to be a long-term journey, and a partner who can complement your weakness is very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is really brilliant. But let me ask you, right, one last question. Where do you get this network of people to really see, hey, who's my very, best co-founder, or who is the other entrepreneur who can kind of match these needs? Where do you find yourself networking with such people so that you can identify all these things?
Okay, I will put it in two ways. One, I will separate networking, and then where you can find, I will put it differently. So in this context, for example, I would like to thank YI for giving me friends all over India. And again, YI for giving me friends all over the world. Because as I said, I had the opportunity to travel to so many countries representing YI. And when I was the founding chair of Trichy, I had the opportunity to visit all the cities, most of the cities. And whenever there was a regional summit or national summit, I used to participate in that. And those participations gives you networking. And in that networking events, you see people. And sometimes you are amazed by the skills which each one of them possess. And then you never know when someone will come across you. It's not that you go searching for people, you build a network of people. And suddenly, whenever you have a problem, then you may think of someone who you just call them. It is not necessary at the first instant to immediately think of them as a co-founder. So whenever you have a problems, you bring them onto your sounding board, talk to them and make it happen. And after a couple of interactions, when you get the confidence in them and they also know you, then you can move the idea of doing something together. It doesn't come accidentally where I'm meeting you today and today I come and ask you like, okay, can we found a company? It may not happen that way. We have to have a couple of interactions when the trust on each other builds over a period of time, seeing the activities of each other. So build your network, try to participate in as many meetings outside your network. For example, if you're a member of YI Amravati, it is important that you don't participate only in your city or in your district. You have to participate wherever you get an opportunity outside your region, outside your place. If I'm in Trichy, I should not sit only in Trichy. I should try to participate or build network outside. And that is when you go to know more people. And that is where you get to know who can help you at the right time. So I would divide two things and say, build a network and try to be in touch with them. And when you need someone as a co-founder, they may be able to help you. Or someone whom you know in your network may be able to identify a person for you. And they may be able to say that, okay, this person may be a right person for you. And of course, that can be a mentor who will be able to identify people. And also, there are a lot of networks. For example, you get a small investment, they will try to put you onto them. And there are a lot of, I would say, CIA is there, which can also help you as an entrepreneur because they already have seen so much programs which they have done related to entrepreneurship. And they can also support you on this journey.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, be it collaborations, co-founder, or whatever it is, you be there, visible, and make sure to connect to the people, and the rest of the process naturally fall in place. And I want to say a big thank you to Leo for really sharing all your real life experiences and putting all of them into small, like, I call it as knowledge nuggets. So thank you so much for being part of the show. And audience, this is the message is for you. If you're going to be a budding entrepreneur or if you want to be successful in life, this is what it is. Make sure you have that kind of, you put yourself out there. I mean, like he said, also, traveling, connecting to the people and see the value that you add beyond just selling a product or something like that. So if at all, if you have not yet subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also like it. But make sure to share every single person out there where this message can make an impact in their life. Otherwise, I'll see you with another amazing entrepreneur in the next episode. But till then, me and Leo, we say thank you so much and bye-bye.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, everyone, for hearing to me. Hope I make some difference in someone's life. Have a nice day.